This is Carl from National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Flagstaff SE model 206 SE tent camper. So this is kind of a supplementary video. You can use the manufacturer's video on setting it up and bringing it down. I'm just going to go into a little more details on some of the functions. So let's do that. All right. So here we are on the door side outside. Obviously you've got crank down stabilizer jacks. You use a 3/4 inch crank or a 3/4 inch drill bit on a I'm sorry, a 3/4 inch socket on a drill. Okay. Also, this griddle here has to be plugged in. You see, there's the male connection right there on the back, and then you would pull this through, and it's got a quick connect on it and a valve on the side there. See the black valve? You just hook it up and turn it on. You got power, an outside speaker, a porch light, of course, and a radio antenna. Then you have storage under here. You have 2 deep cycle marine batteries, and let's see, 2 deep cycle marine batteries and 2 20-pound LP tanks. And this is a power winch for the roof. All right. When you bring up the roof, it's actually supposed to come up a little higher than he's got it right now, but you bring it up till this is taut, and that way the door will fit correctly. This is your water heater. So the switch operator is inside. If I can get it to come off here, there we go. So keep that in mind. Always make sure there's water in the water heater tank before you turn it on. Alright, so let me just shut that right there. Hold on, I gotta move the camera here. I can only do this with 2 hands there. Okay. So this is the sink drain right here. You're just gonna screw a hose on there. You can make one up, get the parts of the hardware store, and make it as long as you want. This is a sprayer, and you get a sprayer is inside the trailer. I'll show it to you when I come across it. Now this is the, let me look inside first before I say anything else about the refrigerators. I have to look and see which one we have here. Okay. Okay. So the controls for the refrigerator are on the outside, and you have to remove this bottom panel here. You do that by turning these locks this way. You turn them vertical so they come off. Okay, and then you can see in here you got 3 energy sources: 110 AC right here, 12 volt DC right here, and if you want to light it on LP gas, you can turn it this way, depress it, and spark it, and you'll look in this hole here to make sure it lit. Okay, and you're running on gas. The most common way is on 110 AC. You can use 12 volt pulling it down the road, but keep in mind you only use 1 energy source at a time. You never double up on them. So don't think it's going to get colder if you use, you know, gas and electric both or something like that. You always want to just use 1. Let me put this back on here. You just give it a kind of a bump. I know that I'm up close to give you, you know, it's kind of hard to see when I'm up this close, but I'm doing it myself, so I have no other way to do it here. So anyway, the most common way to get water to the trailer is right here, city water hookup. If you go to a campground that does not have city water plumbing on the campsites, you can pre-fill this tank here and use the onboard pump to pump the water. This is just an AC prep. It's just pre-prepped, pre-wired for air conditioner, so that's what that's for. Your cord is 30 amps and 30 feet long. Your door stores under here, but it actually she's actually got it on here backwards. But you hang it on here and then use the bungee cord to tie it up. Actually, you have to turn it around. Okay, the awning is up here, as you can see, and it's got an LED strip. Okay. So, right now the sink is in the upright position. Now notice that if I do this, the lights go out. There are two kill switches underneath this this the cooktop and sink. So if it's not in that position, the power to the trailer is cut off, so you can't accidentally run something when you're pulling it down the road. All right. The cooktop you just light with a grill. This is the sprayer and the handset I told you about. Of course, your faucet. This is the thermostat for the furnace right here. You're just going to turn it this way to turn it on. Click it to the left to turn it off. Also, your water heater lights here. Okay. The other thing to note is, or the other things to note are, I'm going to have to get down here a little bit lower. I'll use my flashlight to light things up a little better. Give me a second here. Okay, so right now we're inverting power. See how that's green? That should be off right now. You don't turn that on unless you're inverting power. You got to hold your finger on the button for a minute. Okay. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me get down here. Huh. All right. I'll look at that for you. Anyway, right now we're inverting power. And our inversion basically is turning 12 volts into 110 AC, right? So you can invert power, and you're only going to invert one plug inside here. So you can always plug in something that you can run off 110 AC using your battery. Okay. Now this also has a converter. The converter actually, let me move forward here, turns 110 AC to 12 volt DC. So that's right here. You can see, hopefully you can see this okay. I'm having a hard time seeing the monitor here. But you can see you got regular household type circuit breakers there. 110 AC, and they're all labeled. Then over here on this side you got 12 volt fuses. So the power is converted to 12 volt DC right there. Then also if those fuses blew, for example, they'll actually, you see them through this perforation here. Also, when you're plugged in, this is a battery tender, so it'll always keep your battery charged up front. Okay. All right. I know we're kind of cramped quarters here, but you get the idea. So it inverts power and it converts power. So converting is going from AC to DC, and inversion is going from DC to AC. Also, this is your water pump switch right here. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector. If it goes off, you're going to have to go outside and figure out what's going on. Also, if it beeps very, very slowly, it's telling you that the battery's low. Here, let me set it off for you so you can hear it. It'll go through two self-tests. First one for LP, second one for carbon monoxide. There you go. And then your low battery indicator. Okay, good. Now this here, again, we're kind of tight on space here, but I'll see if I can show you. There we go. This is for your solar panel. So, you just push it. 13.1 amps or volts coming out of that, which is good. Right now we're inside, so you see the sun and the arrow pointing towards the panel. We're not getting anything from the sun right now because we're not outside. Charged 100%. And we got 0 amp hours because we're not, like I said, we're inside right now. Okay. This inverter, I told you that I was shutting it off. I have to look at that. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe I've got the wrong information, but either way, it'll be working fine when you pick it up. If it's not already, I'm not even sure. So, okay. Sorry about that. Let me see here. So, you have your radio over here. The radio is, let me turn this back on. It's got Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly with Bluetooth. You got a USB to stream that way off a USB. It's got an AM/FM radio, and so there's a lot you can do with it. Also, your switches for your lights are here. This is the switch for your Wi-Fi Ranger right here. Now, this is the sticker here on the top line. It'll tell you the name of your Wi-Fi Ranger. So when you look at it with your cell phone, you know, or your tablet, you can identify it by the name, which is right there. The bottom line is an address you type into your browser, and it'll show you everything that the Wi-Fi Ranger sees, right? So if you put your passwords in your phones and tablets, it'll automatically hook up to the Wi-Fi Ranger. Then all you have to do is type in this IP address and basically you'll see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. So you would pick out the campground Wi-Fi, put in the password, and you're hooked up. It's a really good signal booster. Also in the middle line, there's a temporary password you'll see there, so you can use that temporary password till you make your own up. There's a second function where you can use a SIM card, and you would go through your cellular carrier, which is obviously a paid service, but if you wanted cellular service through it, you could have it. Most people just use the free signal booster feature, okay? Alright. Okay, so the other thing to note is that this is a 3-speed fan. Make sure it latches right here, so you got to unlatch it when you put it up and down, or latch it when you get it down. There's the crank to bring it up and down. Like I said, it's 3 speeds. That's just a glass tube fuse. That's just in case it blows. That's, you know, there's a fuse in there. So it does a really good job of pulling the air out of the warm air out of the trailer. So it's good for those days where you just want to cool it down inside, and you just open all the windows up so just the screens are open, and turn that on 2nd or 3rd speed, and it'll crank really good. So okay, well, I think I've covered it. The next thing I need to tell you that's very important is you want to check the seals on the trailer. Any place you see caulk from the factory, you want to look at every 90 days or so. When it comes to the roof, you're going to check the corner caps. There's a plastic cap on each corner. Check the caulk on that. Also around the vent, you're going to check that. Every place you see caulk on the side of the trailer. You never use caulk from a hardware store. You don't use silicone. You have to use something called Clear ProFlex. You get it at an RV store. It's not expensive. It's, you know, around $10 for a caulk tube of it. Caulk tube will last you forever. So you want to make sure that you get the right stuff and keep after it. If you do that, and if it's, you know, because this shifts and bends down the road and all that sort of thing, so eventually you're going to get a crack somewhere. Every trailer does. The reason you're inspecting it, so when you do get to that point where it needs a touch up, just take care of it immediately. The thing is, these trailers, when they are maintained properly, last for decades. They're very, very well made trailers, so keep that in mind. Also, when it comes to, I'm not going to open it up now, but when it comes to your water heater, you can access that from the inside of the trailer. There are valves on the back. They're called bypass valves. You cannot get antifreeze into the water heater tank because it leaves a really foul smell and taste, especially taste. So they give you a bypass valve, so when you pump the antifreeze in the fall, so your plumbing doesn't freeze, you always bypass the water heater first, then you just drain it. Okay? Okay, well, thank you very much for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit, and goodbye.